It's funny, I get thrown in the deep end from Isaac, who produces the podcast. We do the podcast, and then right before we're about to launch them, I actually completely forget to do the intro, and Isaac's sitting there waiting because I haven't done the intro yet, and I'm last minute doing an intro for the next guest on the show. So I apologize, Isaac, because I'm late to the boat again. But the next episode is with professional wakeboarder James Windsor, who's actually an LSKD ambassador and has been quite for a long time now, from when it was LKI that now we've transitioned to LSKD. James is an absolute legend. He's probably one of the most loved guys in that sport. He's just so friendly to everyone, and he's such a community-driven dude. He, and has achieved so much at such a young age. Winning world titles, traveling the world as a teenager, to literally showing up to his first event on his own and hitching a ride to the contest. I won't say too much. It's a super cool story, and the guy is still doing so well in the sport and giving back so much, and has achieved so much. To think he's only in his early 20s is crazy. So hope you guys enjoy it and take a lot away, and get as much value as possible. So enjoy. Where did you just come back from, actually?
I just come back from Latvia. So I was in the Baltic over there in Europe.
In Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. How long were you there for?
I was there for about a week. But before that, I had 2.5 months traveling all around Europe. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's it. How long did you spend in Europe recently?
Well, I started my trip off in Lithuania and about 2.5 months ago. I started the season a lot later than normal.
Yeah.
Had a shoulder injury, and it was good to come back stronger and feeling fitter for the season, I guess.
Yeah, and you spent a lot of time over there. How many countries have you traveled to so far, and flights? How long? What have you?
So far,
you told me it was a shitload. So
yeah, just in the last 2.5 months, I did 14 countries, 20 cities, and 24 flights. So pretty busy.
Yeah, shit, that's a lot. And you're about to get on a plane again Friday?
Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday.
Heading off to Barcelona.
Cool. And how many flights, countries, cities? What's the plan?
We're gonna spend a couple of days, get over the jet lag in Barcelona. Not a bad place to spend some time, and then we're gonna drive to the south of France, competing in a contest, King of Tricks. I competed there last year, had a blast, so I want to go back again.
Yeah.
Then heading over to the other side of Spain to open up, or they just opened a new cable park there, and gonna go check it out and ride with a few friends over there. It looks epic, so I'm super pumped to check it out. And then flying over to Mexico for 3 weeks. Never been there before, so don't know what to expect.
That's cool. Living the dream, Windsor. Living the dream. And thanks for coming on the show, bro. We've known each other for quite a while now. James Windsor's a professional wakeboarder, cable rider, and travels the world competing. How old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. Yeah, that's cool. And what's a day in the life of a professional wakeboarder do? What's your schedule when you are competing and when you're traveling the world? What's a day in the life for Windsor?
Well, just wake up, always get some coffee. Big fan of some coffee, and pretty much go to the cable park, wakeboard for a couple of hours, film, then hang out with a bunch of my mates. We usually go skate in the afternoon, and then just skate around the city, see what the nightlife's like, and
the nightlife. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And what do you stay at the cable parks? Do you live on the cable park when you're there? Do they because wakeboarding is huge in the UK, isn't it? In Europe as well.
Europe it's a lot bigger than in Australia, obviously, because they don't have the surfing or the beach pretty much, and so their water sports is all done in lakes. So skiing was really big, and then obviously it's evolved into wakeboarding, and that's why cable parks have just popped up, and they're just blowing up in Europe pretty much. So they have over 90 full sizes in Germany. They have 120 in France. They have 87 in in Italy, and we have 8 in Australia. So
yeah, that's why you spend a lot of time over there, because the sport's huge over there.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot bigger. Just
you were telling me it's one of the biggest sports in one of the countries before.
Yeah, I was. This is my just a trip I just went on. It was the first time in Lithuania.
Yep.
And I got there and I was just so surprised, like, how big wakeboarding was. Like, the first sport they have is basketball and second is wakeboarding, and that was just mind-blowing to me. Like, people stopping you in the street, and
you're saying you're on the side of cars.
Yeah, like I was on the main radio station there, and just seeing billboards just full of wakeboarding, and I was just like, whoa, what's going on?
You don't see that in Australia.
Not at all. So
what's the population there, do you know?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. And I think that's probably, Australia, there's a lot less cable parks. It's still a big sport, but overseas, it's the same when we're talking to Darcy Ward for Speedway. Like, people don't realize how big it is over there. And I suppose the population, it's crazy over there how big it is. And you travel, like, the amount of, I suppose, for your career and opportunity, that's why you spend so much time there too.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Last year I based myself in Barcelona, and it just made it so much easier than traveling back home every time, because every 2 weeks there'll be a different comp somewhere different in Europe, and it just made no sense to fly all the way home and then fly back.
Big flights. And how many contests a year do you do, like major contests?
At the moment, I'm just trying to do the major ones, so I'm doing about 6, but in the years before, like in the previous years, I've I used to do like 18 to 20 contests, but it just got a bit full on. So just try to stick to the major contests, and then just go have fun and ride at other cable parks, do some appearances, some Grom camps. And
you were saying before, like, you do a lot of camps, a lot of coaching, like you help a lot of the next generation.
Yeah, it's I love it. Like the feeling you get of teaching someone a new trick, and seeing how stoked they are, and you just remembering like when you learnt that trick and how pumped you were.
Yeah,
so cool to just see, like, be able to tell them something simple and they get it first go, and then you just
that's so cool.
I'm pumped off that vibe.
How many kids would you coach a year? Like, would you help to learn new tricks a year when you're traveling the world?
Oh, over hundreds of kids. Like one weekend coached like 20 to 30 kids. Over the 2 days we do like a 3-hour camp or a 4-hour camp, and it's super cool just to ride with them and see how stoked they are to ride with you.
That's cool. That's that's really cool, and giving back to the sport as well, and it's helping you create a career out of it as well.
Yeah,
that's dope. Hey, so I mean, 23, you've been wakeboarding for quite a while. How did you get into the sport? Because you used to race motocross too. You come from, I mean, that's how I know you, from motocross.
Yeah,
and then you got into it quite young. So I mean, you've done, you've achieved some massive contest wins, world championships. How did you get into this sport? Tell us the backstory, Windsor.
Well, it all started was I used to race motocross every weekend. My dad started working away, so he couldn't take us racing. So we just ride when we can, and then I just wanted to find something that I can do every day after school. Or my school group, we went out in a school group and just went kneeboarding.
Yeah.
And I was just hopped on, got to the first corner, made it around. Second time, and then I was just like, oh, that's pretty fun. I want to go back on the weekend. So 3 of my friends, we went back on the weekend, and I started kneeboarding again, and then my friend's like, get off the kneeboard, that's gay as. So I was like, picked up a wakeboard and got to the first corner, crashed, and then by the end of the day I could ride around, and then I tried my first obstacle and I hit it, and just before it I fell off and just slid across the whole thing on my belly, and then I was like, oh, that was pretty cool. I want to try land that. And then, ever since then, I was just stoked to go back.
How old were you then?
Would have been about 13.
Yeah, and then, so not too young. Like, you started quite late in the scheme of things.
Yeah, I just I fell in love with it straight away. Like, I went back, and then they had a membership for the holidays. So for the school holidays, I bought the membership. Was there every single day from the moment the cable opened until it closed. It's open from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. Mum thought it was the best thing ever, just a daycare centre for me. So she just dropped me off. And
keeping you out of trouble too.
Yeah, so I just get dropped off at 9 in the morning. She picked me up at 9 at night and just ride all day long.
Yeah, wow. And then how quick did you, you started riding at 13. How did it progress? I'm guessing you sold your dirt bike pretty quick?
Yeah, well, I just was wakeboarding every single day, and I just fell in love with it. Every minute I could wakeboard, I would. I was trying to leave school as soon as possible to get the bus there and just ride straight after that. And then basically after 6 months, one of the the guy who owned the cable park, Kirk Langfield, he sponsored me and gave me my first board, and he's like, oh, you should try go to the World. So we got some funding together through some barbecues and stuff, and then I went and rode my first ever World like after 7 months of wakeboarding. Ended up getting 4th in under 14 boys, and then I was just hooked. It was the first time overseas, and then
did you have any tricks dialed by its first 7 months?
Yeah, I could do like 720s and a bunch of the flips and stuff like that. So it was pretty good.
So you can say you had a little bit of natural talent, right?
Just a little bit.
That's awesome. And then where'd it go from there?
Yeah, I just kept wakeboarding, won a bunch of all the junior or under 17 stuff I could win for cable. And then, we went the next following year, I went to the Worlds in Abu Dhabi, and I was, I competed in under 19 in under 19 WWA for features and for the traditional. Ended up winning the traditional and then getting 5th in the features.
Yeah.
And then I was like, Mum,
how old were you then when you won it?
15.
Under 19s. That's cool.
And then I was like, oh, Mum, I want to go travel and do all the contests. And she's like, yeah, well, you can leave school and just go do it.
Yeah.
So I set off, went to Texas. It was my first overseas big trip by myself. And
you were how old? 15?
Yeah, I was 15, and flew 27 hours and got to the airport in Dallas, and I didn't know how to get to the cable. No one was there to pick me up. I just ended up hopping in the car with some random guy that was sitting next to me on the flight. He said, I can give you a lift. I live right near that place. So got a lift for some random guy, and then ended up getting a taxi from his house to the cable park, where the cable park was closed, so that was amazing.
So what did you do when you got there?
Ended up after just calling some people and...
So were you actually going to stay at the cable park, like stay the night, or where were you staying?
No, I was staying at a hotel really close by, and...
and you were by yourself?
By myself. So,
that's funny.
Yeah, and then from there I managed to get to my hotel.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was so scared. Yeah, but... it hasn't been...
And it hasn't slowed down since, right?
No, yeah, I flew to Germany that following year and ended up getting there, not knowing where to stay either, and just slept in my board bag under the tree, so...
Does Mum know about that?
Yeah, she found out after 2 days of me not calling her. She was freaking out.
The life of a pro wakeboarder. How many places did you travel to when you were 15? I mean, like... When I was 15, man, I would have been stoked to get out of Queensland. No, actually, yeah, but travel across the world at 15, that's something that not many kids get to do, you know. That's an amazing opportunity. How many countries did you travel to at 15, or was that one trip to Texas and back?
No, that was just the start of my trip. That year I was away for 9 months. I did 27 countries, and it was just tried to go to as many contests as I was, so I get it was the...
Yeah. It's all good, bro.
Yeah.
You get nervous on these things. I do.
Yeah. No,
so 27 countries on your first year?
Yeah, I was just trying to go to as many contests as I could.
Yeah.
Just so I could get my name out there and just get people to notice my wakeboarding.
And did you have any board sponsors then, or was it just you had a couple of small sponsors?
I just had a few local sponsors. I rode for League of Force Australia back then, and
I think it's when we kind of spotted you, right? When we were at LKI.
Yeah, that was the first time I
that's cool.
Rode for LKI, and it kind of just started from there. I just started getting like thirds and seconds, and then at the end of the season I won 6 back-to-back contests, and then the 2 world titles for pros, and all my idols that I've been watching for the last 2.5 years where I was riding, I was standing in the middle of them like, what am I doing here?
How did you deal with that pressure? Because that's massive. Like, you're with the big guys at 15, 16. How did you deal with that pressure?
I didn't even really think about the pressure. I just was stoked to be there. I was so happy to ride around with all the people I'm looking up to. Like, and
now you're beating them.
I was like, what am I doing here?
That's cool. And then that's when all the other sponsors started kind of ringing you up. And
as soon as that season finished, it was just it was contracts and everything, and I was just like, oh, I made it.
That's cool. And did you meet anyone that you travel with? Because I know you travel a lot with. You got a couple of really close friends that you travel with.
Yeah.
did you meet anyone in the early days that helped you to kind of, that you were going with it? 'Cause, you know, you're 15, right? Like,
yeah.
did you have a friend along the journey, like as you got there, that you kind of like your travel buddy that you kind of hooked up with?
Yeah, definitely. I had Daniel Grant. He was the youngest. We were both the youngest on the tour.
Because he's a year younger than you.
2 years.
Two. So he was like, what, 13?
Yeah, 13, and he was just. So we just always get put together in the hotel rooms and all that because we're the youngest, so we just become best friends straight away. And it was so nice to have someone kind of similar my age because everyone else was like 20, 21, 19. So it was a big age gap. Yeah, so it was like you have to grow up real fast, like grow up right now.
Yeah, 100%. You've experienced it all and you've literally haven't really been home. You're home maybe 3 months of the year, every year?
Yeah, basically. I had a little bit longer home this season due to injury, but it was so nice to spend a little bit more time at home. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, when you're away, is it hard to train? Because you train a lot when you're back here. Like you work out a lot.
Yeah, I train 11 times a week at Fit Stop. I absolutely love it. So yeah, I've tried to train as much as I possibly can.
And I'm stoked to train 5 times a week. 11 times, you're a weapon.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. Like I'll train in the morning, and the feeling that I get when I go to wakeboard, I'm just like, I've like achieved something today. And then I'll wakeboard for a couple of hours, and then I go home, make some food, and then I'm like, I want to go back to gym. This is awesome. So I just end up training until I wake up in the morning and I can't even sit on the toilet or put my shirt on.
Oh, that's cool. And do you find training, like obviously the fitness side has helped you with competing this year? Because you just won a huge contest this year too. Like,
yeah, just won Plastic Playground's the biggest cable event of the year. And
congrats too.
Thanks. Yeah, just definitely the training. I haven't trained at gym as much as I trained this year. And in the pre-season or like before coming into the season, I was training like probably 3 times more than I've ever trained before, and it's definitely paid off. I can see a massive difference in my riding. I just feel lighter and stronger. Yeah, just everything is it's definitely a game changer for
that's cool. Yeah. And how many guys do you compete against in a contest, for anyone that doesn't know? Like
I think at Plastic Playground we had 107 competitors for pro men's, and so it goes over 3 days, but if you're in the top 8 you get seeded, so you only ride on the Saturday. I didn't do so good in Bali, so I wasn't seeded, so I had to ride every single day. So I started like right at the bottom
and worked your way to the top.
I worked my way at the top. So the first day there was 107 riders, and then they knock it down to like 60 riders, and then it was 90, 60, and then they get it to 40, and then down.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it was pretty crazy.
That's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool.
You had to hustle hard that event to take the win. That's cool. And I mean, you've traveled so many countries. What is your favorite contest? What's the ultimate contest you love to go to every year?
Oh, Plastic Playgrounds for sure. Just everyone comes, and it's such a big event.
And how's the event hosted? Because I know that some of these events have music festivals.
Yeah.
And you're known as the party boy, right, Windsor? You like to have fun too. Like, is there a festival at Plastic Playground? What goes down at a contest like that?
At Plastic Playground, it's more a little bit more serious. Like Feast and all the other 2.0 events, they're always set up with festivals in the background and stuff like that. So they're awesome events too. Like, I love going to the system events because they can just be put anywhere. So in the middle of the city, they'll just whack up a 2.0 system and then
hold a contest.
And hold a contest there. Like, you have the most crowd. Like when we have...
How big do the crowds get?
I think the finals was 65,000 people at Feast just watching wakeboarding. It was insane.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's probably one of the biggest crowds we ride in. All the years.
Oh, I think that gets that to like an NRL grand final, you know, like you're getting like 75, 80,000. So you're getting a massive crowd to a wakeboard contest.
Yeah, so we're just bringing wakeboarding to the people. So like it's really hard to get, like at Plastic Playground, we probably have 10 to 15,000 people come watch Plastic Playground, but it's just a full-size cable park. So it's
which is huge. That's a big crowd, 15,000.
It's pretty big, but it's just, it's pretty cool because they have all freestyle motocross there and they have all the other stuff. So, obviously the party after and, nice.
Yeah, that's good times. And I suppose from a social media perspective, because you got pretty big social following, you know, for wakeboarding, how does how do I say it? Do you focus a lot on your social media to build your profile globally around the world? Like how much effort do you put into your Instagram account and Facebook account to grow, to build it? For obviously you've got sponsors, you know, all over the world, and you've got fans. Do you put a lot of effort into that? Like from a, you know, everyone talks about the social influencers. Do you treat that similar, but being in an athlete's position?
Yeah, I do it in a way, but also I probably should be a little bit better at it as one aspect. But writing wise, I do a Window Wednesday, so every Wednesday I'm putting out brand new content at a different cable park around the world to showcase people,
which is cool.
Well, yeah.
Which are really focused on that.
Yeah, so every Wednesday I'm just trying to bring out something new and creative that everyone's going to like at a different park that people get stoked on, I guess. And
just always trying to create content around that Window Wednesday.
Yeah, like I was injured.
Did you create that name?
Yeah, I just created it. And actually, it was just I was with Daniel Grant and in Thailand. He's like, you should do a Window Wednesday. Like we kind of just talking about it because we saw like Method Monday and like all the kind of different like days, and I was like, oh, I want to do a Window Wednesday.
Because everyone calls you Window, right?
Yeah, everyone calls me Window. So I was like, oh, let's do a Window Wednesday. I made my first one in Thailand, and then I just did every Wednesday after that for the whole year. I just made a video, and it just caught on. And then
you've stayed super consistent with it as well, which really helps people expect it.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I missed a couple of weeks ago. I missed like 2 Window Wednesdays because of just injury or just like didn't have an opportunity to ride and just super busy. And it's so funny how many direct messages I got, like, I think my internet's broken, or like,
where's your Window Wednesday?
Where's the Window Wednesday? Like, it was just so funny. I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry guys, it's coming. Like, but it was just so cool to see like people actually watch it and really want it to come
amazing
out.
When you set that expectation and you keep building it and you build the community around it, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
That's cool. And I mean, you've got your own signature board with Slingshot, you know, your own Windsor board. How long have you been sponsored by those guys, and how many boards have you had? Like, because you've had quite a lot of signature boards.
Yeah, I think this is my 7th board.
Yeah, wow. And do you have a lot of involvement when the team design the boards?
Yeah, so we work with a bunch of different designers for the graphic. I've always just, for the last couple of years, I've just chosen one of my good friends, Wesley Mark Jacobson.
Yeah.
He always kills it. He's a funny guy, but he's just amazing at drawing, and any little idea I give him, he just comes back and just blows my mind. So
so you get a lot of say in the design of your board every year, because your new board looks really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we get to design from scratch. So you come up with an idea, and then you work with an artist, and then last year or this year for 2020, I did like a Viking theme. I just sent him. I was really into the Vikings, the Netflix show. So I was like, I want to do a Viking. It's awesome. And so I just gave him this little drawing, and I just didn't expect it to get what he did. And then he's like, does this work? And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. That definitely works.
Yeah, cool.
So it's pretty cool.
That's cool. And how far in advance do you guys develop your boards? Like, I know from within what we do with LSKD, we're developing 12 to 14 months in advance of development, sometimes longer. We're trying to get shorter and learn to how we can get more quicker to market, to learn from our customers as well. But how far in advance are you designing for a 2020 board?
Well, 2021 has to be done by October, so we're just in the process of getting 2021.
So you're under the design pressure from the team there.
Yeah, definitely. That's the hardest part. Like, having your name on the board is amazing, but then being like, okay, what do I want to put on it?
Yeah.
So that's one of the hardest parts, is coming up with a cool graphic that's going to look cool in 2021. So.
Yeah. Hey, we have the same problems. It's never easy making sure you kind of bringing out that fresh hype as well, that aligns with what you stand for too.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. And do you do a lot of traveling for those guys? Because when you're traveling, you do a lot of tours. Being for what you do as ride boards, do you travel for Slingshot and travel the world for those guys doing demos and tours as well? Yeah,
definitely. They're one of my major sponsors, and it's just, without their support, it'd be so hard to get to all the places I do. And so I definitely do a lot of demos, and a lot of the distributors just fly us to different parks and just to promote the product. And it's so cool just to go to so many different places and see your name on the board, and see people just stoked on your product and what you push.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I mean, what's next for Windsor? Where are you going? Like, where it's with the countries, like, what's the next 6 months going to look like for you? With some goals you have in mind, what's...
Definitely do good in the I'm competing in the King of Tricks, and then I'm going to do the WWA World Wake Park Series, or like the...
Where are they holding that this year?
In Mexico, in Cancun.
Oh, so that's why you're going to Mexico.
Yeah,
cool.
So I'll do the last stop of that, and just hopefully get in the top 3, my main goals, and then just have fun, get a lot more content than I am, and just pushing myself to come out of my comfort zone, and
yeah, that's cool. And you've been riding a dirt bike lately?
Yeah, I've been loving it. I just bought my I haven't rode in like 10 years, and just bought a 252 stroke and absolutely love it.
And you raced a couple of weeks ago, a day in the dirt?
Yeah, I raced a day in the dirt. I was just putting around at the back of the field, but I was loving it.
You don't want your wakeboard sponsor to find out.
I was just loving every moment of it.
Did you get arm pump?
Oh yeah, half a lap. I didn't even do one lap, and I couldn't even hold on. I have to peel the fingers off the throttle.
I'd be the same. It's been a long time.
But I absolutely loved it. I've been riding like the last 3 times in the last week, so having so much fun.
That's cool. And what else do you do apart from wakeboard? Like, do you have anything else that you do to chase the vibe, I suppose?
Yeah, well, love going to the gym, obviously. Surfing, skating. Always take my skateboard in my board bag. It's a must. So any place we go, there's always awesome skate parks. So I absolutely love that. And obviously motocross is I started riding when I was 3, and then it's been a massive part. And then when I stopped, I missed it so much, but had wakeboarding, and then it's awesome to buy a bike again and start riding again.
Yeah, so. That's cool. You're pretty much the all-rounder, but good at everything. You might not say that. But you are. And I mean, in terms of, you're at the top of the game in professional wakeboarding. What advice could you give to any up and coming, whether it's a young kid coming up to be trying to, make it as a wakeboarder, or anyone? What advice could you give to any up and coming grommy that, potentially you're coaching, and to give them on their journey to becoming, the level you're playing at?
I think if you want to be the best, you just got to ride. It's time on the water. You can do heaps of other training, I guess, but you just got to absolutely love it, every minute of it, and just ride as much as you can. As a grom, I just didn't get off the water, and I see so many grommies now at the park, and all they do is just sit around on their phones, and they ride for like 20 minutes, and then they're just like, oh yeah, sweet, how are you so good? Like, I used to ride for 9 hours every day, or like 8 hours. You
weren't the best, you made yourself the best.
Yeah, you just want to be hungry. You want it. Like, you want to be like, I want it. You watch videos on Instagram or watch their edits, and as soon as you get to the cave, you're like, I want to try this trick, and then just be persistent, and just be hungry, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. That's great feedback. And you said that with a trick. What's your favorite trick? Like, what's your OG trick?
My favorite trick?
Yeah.
I guess the front to fakie off the kicker. It's just cutting in as hard as possible and just going massive. I just love the feeling of just sending it. And,
that's cool.
It's not a very hard trick, but the feeling I get when just going like cable height.
Just boosting.
And just boosting, yeah. I love that feeling.
That's cool. And any tricks you're working on?
I'm trying to do a double grab, toe back 9. I've landed one with just a single grab, but I've been trying to do double grab, and and obviously cradle double Mexican. It's
I have no idea what that is, bro.
It's just like a double.
Sounds like food.
Double. It's like you're cutting on your heel side, and you do a double front flip, but you're grabbing across your body.
Okay.
So,
You're like a gymnast.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say I know what all the tricks are. I'm not going to say I know everything. No way. And what's the trick that you dislike the most, that you kind of have to do in a contest? Is there a trick that you don't like that you do that is good? Is there like...
I don't like.
Or it's really hard and it kind of makes it hard in the contest? Because you make everything look silky smooth, but there is tricks that are hard, right?
Yeah. Well, I just think back 9 is like a hillside, backside 900. Everyone does them in a contest. They're the most overrated trick. It's like doing a whirly bird now, or like back in the day, every boat rider would do a whirly bird, like just a backflip kind of Olay thing. Yeah. And they just got overused, so that people just stopped doing it. And now in a contest, every single person in the finals will do a back 9. Like, so it's just, or a back 7. It's just like the go-to trick. And I think as much as much as I used to like doing that trick, I absolutely hate it because you see every single person do one. So you're like, oh, please just do anything different, something different, and it's amazing.
Yeah, cool. And I suppose you brought up a good point I wanted to ask, and it's, because I suppose there's all these different sports, and I suppose coming from a motocross racing background, which you did, like, it was up to you. If you did well, it's all you, right? And the only thing that could go wrong is something could break down on your bike, or you're mentally not tough enough to get through, or something happened, you had a crash. But with wakeboarding or judge sports, right? Like, is it tough being in a judge sport? I mean, there's so many cans that could be opened up in talking about that, but is it tough being a judge sport? Like, there's judges and you've got to impress the judges, which isn't a lot of sports all around the world. Is it tough?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest thing that I found with wakeboarding to motocross. Motocross is the first across the line. Like, you got to, you can't.
In any sport that it's you and yourself, right?
Yeah.
With no judges.
Yeah, so, but just like, when you come to judges, like, some weekends I'll be riding amazing and I won't even get through, and then other weekends I think I'm riding terrible, and then I'll just win by so many points, and then I'll just be seeing other people riding like, how did I just get through? Like, in my head, I don't not telling people out
you
loud.
Just did.
Just imagine. It's like I've had a few examples where I've flown halfway across the other side of the world, and I get there and I just stuff up. I rode horrible, and I end up like going back to my room, like calling mum, like, mum, like, I stuffed up, like, just being so angry. And then you just look at the results, and I won like the heat, and you're like, what? Well, thanks for that, but that's crazy. Like, and then other times you can be riding absolutely amazing, and you're like, oh, I won that easy, and you'll just get fourth in your heat, and you're like, how does that even work? Like, so it's you can win some and you can lose some.
And I think that happens across every judge sport, right? It's not just across one sport. It's everything. It's judged. You hear about it all the time, and it's tough. Like, it would be the toughest thing. I mean,
especially if you're just training your butt off for weeks in advance, like before the contest, and you're just practicing, and then you go into it, and then you just get a shitty judge, or like someone that's just a bad decision that you think, and then you're just devastated. Like, it's so hard to then go
and
right.
You can't question it either, because you just got to roll with what's happened, right?
Yeah, you just got to suck it up, and then it's pretty hard if you're riding another contest the next weekend, because you have all your motivation is just like in the drain, because you're like, I just trained so hard, and then and then you've just thrown
it's mentally draining, right?
Yeah, so you've just thrown, like, they've thrown you in the bin pretty much, and then you like have to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and then just be like, all right, I got to go kill it the next weekend. You got to be like, all right, I'm going to do better and better. And then, so it's kind of...
Well, I think that's the thing about sports or anything. It goes back to even trying to, I suppose, in business or being a professional athlete, you have those bad days, and they happen all the time. You got to pick yourself back up and try and get back. And then I suppose coming from a judge sport, it's trying to pick yourself up when that happens. It would be tough.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool though. Thanks for sharing that, bro.
That's all good.
Is there anything else you want to share, Windsor? Anything else you want to throw down? You've done well. You were nervous to come on. Like, you've done awesome. You've done awesome.
Well, thanks. This is the first
so,
one.
How many years have you been wakeboarding now? Is it almost 10?
Almost 10 years.
So that's really young in the sport.
Yeah. So so many people think I'm way older than I am just because I've been around for so long.
Yeah.
So still.
Well, most kids start. I think when we're chatting back to NATO, like, a lot of kids start a sport when they're 5 and 6 years old, but most of the time you see this pattern. They don't come into their own till they're 12, 13, 14, and they but the ones that start really young and do really well young find it tough, because they find partying, and they find when they turn 18 they're kind of almost over it, because they've done so well so young. But when they come through, do you find that happens in wakeboarding as well? Yeah,
for sure. There's a lot of people that just lose interest. Like, the guys who I started riding with, I don't think there's one person who I started riding with that still rides today. Yeah, like at my home park. So, it's kind of crazy. You either really, really want it, or you just end up going down other paths. Yeah, and it's not a bad thing if you're going to get in a trade, or you're doing something else, but you find the ones that want it, or they could be getting pressured by their parents from a really young age, which sucks. And they lose interest in it because there's that pressure, which I've seen time and time again. Yeah, I see it with a lot of the younger riders coming up too, with the cable wakeboarding, that a lot of the dads are just...
Soccer mums.
Soccer mums, yeah, soccer dads.
Is that if that's what you call it? I'll just make it up in the spot.
And yeah, I kind of was so lucky with that my parents were just so supportive and they just dropped me off. They watched me online or just come out in the afternoon and watch me do laps, but never pushing. I think a lot of the kids these days, because the sport's changed so much. A lot of the older crew just used to not train or do anything. They just party and then wake up in the morning and be like, sweet, we're going to go ride. Like,
is that what wakeboarding's known for too, a little bit?
That was just back in the day. Like every rider would just party the night before and then go ride. And now we all train, we all go to the gym, we all go to bed early the night before and then getting up and riding fresh. It's just changed so much. And even since when I started wakeboarding...
Because I remember it used to be a lot back then too.
Yeah, it was just like the first year I went on tour, there's lots of people just partying all the time before events. And then you go to an event now, there's not one person that will party the night before. Like,
that's awesome.
There's it's just changed so much. So it's cool to see that just... Yeah, everyone's more focused and that's
more treating each athlete to really putting that effort in.
Yeah,
and do you find that I mean, and that's what you said, like it's changed so much. Are the parents putting pressure on the kids to act like that as well? And really,
you see the kids already. They're all training like every day, just waking up and just doing the same routine and just trying to just do. They don't even ride for fun sometimes, just go out and do their comp run.
Putting too much pressure on themselves, right? You got to have more fun.
Yeah, definitely when you're at that age, like one thing I could say to any young riders, just go out and ride for fun. Like just, you'd be out there because you absolutely love it, not because someone's telling you to go do tricks. Like, yeah, I think that's the way to keep being in love with this sport.
It's great advice. Thanks, bro. Well, Windsor, bro, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Have an epic 6 months ahead. I'll be keeping an eye out for it. We'll all be sitting in the office watching you travel the world. Good luck, brother, and thanks for